Okay, let's do part two. Part one, you saw me roll the clay out and get the texture in it, get it all ready, and then the phone rings, had to turn it off. So this is part two. I actually went ahead and made the first one, wedged out the clay, rolled it back out, what I had left over, and redid it, smoothed it out, got the texture in it, it's ready to go. So I thought I would redo and show you what you do next. Now I've got the 8-inch pipe form, GR pottery form, 8-inch on top, 9.5 on the bottom. This is the 11-inch. This is the 11.5-inch rim template and the wall system. All right, wall is will assist. So this is my bat. I put the bat on first, and it's easy to put on. It's got a slit here, so you just slide it onto the little bolts on the wheel head. You put your centerpiece in. Now the centerpiece has the little nut here, the little screw that goes in, and your template goes next. Now I put any kind of print side down because if it touches the clay, it'll imprint on the clay, which it will burn off, so it's not really a problem. Then I get the largest form. It also fits on there. Now I've just got 11-inch form and 11.5-inch rim template because I just want a little tiny lip, because this again is a pie plate. Now I'm going to center this one on top. It is not bolted on, it's just centered on here carefully, and I make sure it's kind of lined up real good. Now I have seen some people take a damp sponge and dampen in between them, and it gives it a little bit of a friction so it doesn't slide as bad. But I find if you're really kind of careful whenever you're making it, it's not going to slide anyway. Mine doesn't. I have stacked 3 or 4 together and did have a problem with one sliding, but just with 2 shouldn't have that problem. All right, now I've got my clay ready. Again, I rolled it out to a 1/2 inch. It's probably about 4 or 5 pounds of clay, because I rolled a total of 9 pounds, and I've made one pie plate already. This will be my second pie plate. All right, I'm getting my clay out, and you see I do have texture rolled into it already. I'm going to turn texture side down. I'm going to carefully lay this over here. I don't want to just throw it on top, because then you will have a problem with your form sliding. I'm just kind of pressing around it. I don't want to crinkle the clay, I just want to press it around it. Alright, I'm going to get my clay knife, and anything that's hanging off the bat, I'm cutting away. It's just going to be in my way. I'm going to turn the wheel on. Okay, and this will be wedged up and reused. If that's a big enough piece, I might be able to make something out of it. We will see. Alright, I'm not going to use very much water on this. I don't like to use water on it. Clean my... Alright, and we're ready. I'm just going to smooth it out. Make sure, since I did re-wedge this clay, this is recycled clay, you might as well say. It's what was left over from the first one. It's not straight out of the bag, so I did find a few air bubbles and I had to pop them. So I want to make sure I have no air bubbles in this part now that I'm using. And I'm smoothing out the bottom. I want to be careful because this is 112 speckled brown stoneware. It does have grog in it. If you use a lot of water or sponge on it, it will pull that grog up to the top and make it a little gritty feeling, and it may scratch your countertop. So I like to just compress it real well with the wedge here. Alright. Got it real smooth. I'm going to cut a little excess off. Needle tool has rolled to the other end of the table, so I'm going to use my clay knife. And I'm just going to cut some of this excess off. Take it off. This out of the way. I am going to do a little bit of this sponge, not much. I like the rings on it, so I get it a little moist. So then I can take my rib and work on ring marks. Alright, now here we go. Smooth the bottom really well. Compress it so if any of the grog has come to the top from using the sponge, I will compress that back down. Compress the sides. And put a little ring on it. I'm going to put my Maker's Mark stamp on it. It's got my mud shop name, Dianna's Mud Shop. Good press here. I also want to make sure this is smooth. Alright, so we got one more time around the edges. I love the smooth bottom on my pieces. Alright, so the wah system, remember we had the little piece in the middle? Okay, we'll lift the bat up. I'm going to put my fingers where the little piece is and press and lift it up and take it off the bat, only handling it from the underside. Now, you see under here where my rim template is, I'm going to use my little slingshot tool. Let's see if I can get on around this other side. And I'm just running that along the side of the rim template. Now sometimes my lip might be a little bit too big, and I'll run it kind of loosely around, get all this excess out, then I can get a closer, cleaner cut. Alright, just run it around evenly. Because the tool is at an angle, it's made that way, I have to be careful to hold it the exact same way all the way around. Make sure it's all trimmed up good. Alright. Now I'm going to take my fingers and run it around here, and I'm being careful to smooth this where it indents in so that it does not crack while it's drying or while it's firing. Now, you can see the little rings around that. You can see the little rings around it. See the little rings that I did with the rib. And then the bottom is smooth. Alright, and I'll let this set in my shop. Takes several hours to be able to get it off. You don't want to take it off too soon, because it will flop or it will warp. You don't want either. And you don't want to leave it on too long, because then it possibly could crack, because as your clay shrinks it hooks that form a little more. I will turn it out onto a bat and take these pieces off. Let me grab a bat. I'll do that right now. I need to find one for dark clay. Here we go. Alright. So I'll do this sitting down where you can see me. I'm going to set this flat and flip it straight over. Alright. I can remove this and go ahead and make another one. Remove the rim template. But now the form will stay in until later. You can see. I will clean the edges and make sure everything is smooth as it's drying. When it gets, get this part now, just gently run my fingers around it, kind of smooth out that edge, soften it a little bit, as some will call it. And that's where it will stay. I have one over here stacked on the roller. This is going to go over there with it. And that makes 2 pie plates I've made already. And it's not been that long. Of course, it's not done. You have to wait several hours, take the form out. I will put, after it's set and got leather hard, I will put weight bags in the bottom because I have a flat bottom and they're more apt to warp. The foot actually holds it better, gives it more support, so I want to make sure that I keep weight bags. My weight bags are just old socks or old pieces of material with kitty litter in it. It will absorb some of the moisture. It'll put some weight on it so it doesn't wrinkle up or fold up or warp in either way. So, but I don't fire it within a minute. But if I'm worried about it warping in the firing, I'll take a smaller flat piece and put in it and bisque fire them together. And that puts a little bit of weight on it while it's bisque firing. But I'll do it on just a little bit of grog. I have a 20% grog in a bag here. I just sprinkle on the kiln shelf. Set this pie plate, because it is heavy, it's thicker, it's bakeware, so it needed to be. So that way it won't crack while it's firing. But anyway, there you go. And I thank you for joining me again in the mud shop while we worked on the wall system to make these pie plates. And time to wage up the rest of this clay and see what else I can make. I think I want to make another salt pig. Bye.